Hi, I'm Julio.
And I'm the AI that will make this story even more unpredictable.
Here's how it works. I write the first 4 chapters full of mystery, clues, and twists.
And then I step in to write the final chapter.
But here's the challenge. Can you guess the ending the AI will create before it's revealed?
I doubt you can. My endings always have a hidden surprise.
So, join us. Hit the like button if you enjoy the idea and share in the comments how you think this story should end. Will your theory beat the AI's twist? The beam of my headlamp cuts through the pre-dawn darkness, illuminating droplets that still cling to the massive fig tree's bark. 10 meters above the courtyard, I adjust my climbing harness and lean outward, suspended by ropes against the bruised sky. The storm last night was brutal. I count 3 major limbs down across the cracked concrete below. "Careful with that one, Mr. Reed," Mrs. Abernathy calls up from her first-floor window. "That tree's older than this building." "It's seen worse than last night," I reply, though I'm not entirely sure. This ficus has been growing in this courtyard for at least 80 years, possibly planted when the building was constructed in the 1930s. I've been monitoring it quarterly for the property management company, but never expected an emergency call at 5 a.m. My gloved hand traces the splintered edge where a massive branch tore away. The break is fresh, still oozing sap that glistens in my light. Something about the fracture pattern seems wrong. I hook my safety line and shimmy closer, directing my beam into the exposed heartwood. That's when I see it. A metallic glint where no metal should be. I clear away splinters with my pruning knife, revealing a small cylindrical object, partially exposed where the wood grew around it. It's maybe 3 inches long, smooth stainless steel with no visible seams or markings, perfectly preserved within the living tissue of the tree. My breath catches. Trees can grow around foreign objects, nails, wire fencing, but this is different. This looks deliberate, precision-engineered, sealed tight within a cavity that the fig has been healing around for years. The beam of my headlamp reflects off a window on the 3rd floor, and I freeze. A silhouette stands perfectly still behind the glass, watching. I can't make out features in the darkness, just the outline of someone observing me intently, unmoving even when my light hits the glass. The wind picks up, sending the branches swaying. I grip my safety line tighter as shadows dance across the courtyard walls. Chicago's endless background noise seems muffled here, as if this small space exists in a pocket separate from the city. I reach toward the object, fingers trembling slightly. Just as my skin makes contact with the cold metal, a sharp crack echoes through the courtyard. Not from the tree. From the 3rd floor window. The silhouette is gone, and the window is now open. Something glints in the darkness there too, but it's not a reflection. It's the barrel of a gun. I don't think. I drop. My body swings wildly on the safety line, crashing against the trunk as a sharp crack splits the air. Something grazes my shoulder. Bark explodes inches from my face. No time to disconnect properly. I release my primary carabiner and plummet the last 6 feet, landing hard on the damp concrete. Pain shoots through my ankle, but adrenaline drowns it out. I scramble behind the massive trunk, pressing my back against rough bark. As another shot pings off the stone fountain. "Mr. Reed!" Mrs. Abernathy's voice, panicked. Her window slams shut. I fumble for my phone with trembling fingers, but pause. The 3rd floor window is empty now. No movement, no silhouette, no gun. Just the gentle sway of a curtain in the breeze. The cylindrical object. I left it embedded in the tree. Sirens wail in the distance, but I can't tell if they're coming this way or just part of Chicago's morning soundtrack. My hands shake as I dial 911, eyes locked on that window. "Emergency services, what?" "Shots fired, 1872 Lakeview Court," I interrupt, voice barely a whisper. "Someone shooting from the 3rd floor, north side." 20 minutes later, I'm sitting in the back of an ambulance, a shock blanket draped over my shoulders. Detective Marissa Chen stands before me, her notebook open, expression carefully neutral beneath her police cap. "And you've been working on this property for how long, Mr. Reed?" "4 years." "Quarterly inspections of the courtyard trees." I wince as the paramedic cleans a cut on my temple. "The management company called me about storm damage, that's all." Chen's eyes narrow slightly. "And before today, you never noticed anything unusual about the fig tree?" "I'm an arborist, not a—" I stop myself. "No, nothing unusual until the broken branch exposed that device." "Device," she repeats, writing something down. "You're sure it wasn't just old hardware? Buildings this age, people hammer nails, hang things." "It was machined steel, detective, precision crafted, sealed tight. No exposed screws or welds." I lean forward. "And someone tried to kill me for seeing it." She doesn't look convinced. "The officers found no one in apartment 3C. Door was unlocked, place looked untouched for days. No weapon, no shell casings." "I know what I saw." My voice rises. The paramedic gives me a concerned look. "Mr. Abernathy in 1A confirms hearing what might have been gunshots," Chen admits, "but no one else has come forward. And there's no sign of your metal cylinder in that tree." My stomach drops. "What?" "Officers checked the damaged branch. There's nothing there but wood." I push past her, ignoring protests from the paramedic and my throbbing ankle. I limp across the courtyard to the fig tree. Yellow police tape flutters in the breeze. My climbing gear lies scattered where I dropped it. And there, 10 meters up, the broken branch gapes open. "Empty," I mutter. "It was there. I touched it." Chen appears beside me. "Your fingerprints would be on it then. If we find it, we'll know you're telling the truth." Something in her tone makes me turn. "You think I'm lying? Why would I call 911 on myself?" She shrugs. "People do strange things, especially people with your history." Ice forms in my veins. "What do you mean, my history?" She flips to a different page in her notebook. "Elliot Reed, certified arborist. Previously, Elliot Reed, environmental activist. Arrested in 2018 during protests against the City Watch surveillance initiative." She looks up. "The same initiative that installed networked sensors throughout the city, including in parks and urban forests." I stare at her, speechless. That was years ago, before I got my certification, before I understood how to work within the system. "Someone accessed your client list last night," she continues, "specifically looking for properties where you were scheduled to work today." That's... who would? You tell me, Mr. Reed, because right now I've got shots fired with no shooter, a mysterious device that's vanished, and you at the center. Her phone chirps. She checks it, eyes widening slightly. "We'll continue this conversation down at the station. My lieutenant wants to speak with you." As she leads me toward her unmarked car, I glance back at the courtyard. Something catches my eye, a glint of metal from the storm drain near the fig tree's roots. And on the rooftop of the building across the street, a small drone hovers, its camera pointed directly at me. The interrogation room smells of old coffee and industrial cleaner. I've been here for 3 hours, repeating the same story while Lieutenant Rosario stares at me with cold, evaluating eyes. Unlike Detective Chen, he makes no attempt to hide his suspicion. "Let's go through it once more," he says, tapping his pen against a manila folder. "You're saying this object was some kind of what exactly?" "I don't know what it was," I say for the 5th time. "Just that it wasn't natural, wasn't part of the tree, and someone tried to kill me after I found it. And yet we have no object, no shooter, no bullets, and no witnesses, except an 82-year-old woman with hearing aids." The door opens, and Chen steps in, her expression unreadable. She places a tablet in front of Rosario and whispers something. His eyebrows rise. "Wait here," he says, as if I have a choice. They leave, and I'm alone with my reflection in the two-way mirror. My dirt-smeared face looks haggard in the fluorescent light. The cut on my temple has stopped bleeding but left a dark crust in my beard. 5 minutes pass. 10. I think about the storm drain I spotted as they led me away. Could the object have fallen there somehow? Or was it removed before the police arrived? The door opens again. Chen enters with a third person, a tall, thin man in an impeccable gray suit. No police uniform or badge, but he carries himself with authority. "Mr. Reed," the man says, sitting across from me. "I'm Agent Marcus Harlow, Department of Homeland Security. We'd like your help." My mouth goes dry. Homeland Security? For a broken tree branch? Harlow slides a photo across the table. It's a high-resolution image of the cylindrical object I saw in the fig tree, against a grid background for scale. "Is this what you found this morning?" I stare at the photo, then back at him. "Yes, exactly. Where did you get this?" "That's not important right now. What matters is that you recognized it." He leans forward. "We've been tracking a group called Viridian Sentinel for 18 months. They've been placing these devices in trees across 6 major cities." Viridian Sentinel? The name sounds like something from my activist days, but I've never heard it before. What do the devices do? They're environmental sensors with telecommunications capabilities. Very sophisticated, very expensive. Harlow's face reveals nothing. The group claims they're monitoring urban pollution levels independently of government oversight. That doesn't sound illegal, I venture. It is when the devices contain unauthorized access modules that can penetrate secure networks within their range. His tone hardens, including police communications, traffic systems, and power grid controls. I shake my head. I don't understand what this has to do with me. I just found the thing by accident. Your name appeared in encrypted communications we've intercepted from the group. They referred to you as the awakened dendrite. The room seems to tilt slightly. I don't know anything about this. You were arrested at the City Watch protests, Chen interjects. You have specialized knowledge of trees. You maintain an online blog criticizing urban surveillance systems. That was years ago. I write about old growth preservation now. My voice rises in pitch. And anyone can look up my client list online. I'm not hiding. Harlow slides another photo across the table. It shows me at a coffee shop 2 days ago, talking with a woman with short blue hair. Mei Tanaka, a botanist I've been dating for a few months. Do you know what Dr. Tanaka does at Argonne National Laboratory? A cold weight settles in my stomach. She studies plant response to environmental stressors. What does Mei have to do with this? She works in the Advanced Materials Division, Harlow corrects, specifically with integrated biosensors. I stop. Mei never discussed her work in detail, said it was under contract restrictions. I always respected that boundary. You think she's involved with these Viridian people? We think you both are, says Rosario, returning to the room. Her apartment was empty when we arrived. Computer gone, clothes gone. Neighbors say she left in a hurry this morning, right after the time you called 911. That doesn't mean anything, I protest, but doubt creeps in. She could have had a conference, a family emergency. Her phone pinged near O'Hare at 7:30 a.m., Chen says, then went offline. Harlow places a final photo on the table. It's a surveillance image from the building across from the courtyard. The timestamp shows 4:52 a.m., just before I arrived at the fig tree. This is where we found the device that fired at you, Harlow explains. An automated system with a single-shot capability, triggered remotely, designed to frighten, not kill. My mind races. You're saying someone wanted me to find that thing in the tree? That I was set up? Or warned, Chen suggests. Maybe they needed you to discover the device, but someone else wanted to scare you away from it. Harlow gathers the photos. We can hold you for 48 hours, Mr. Reed, or you can cooperate. Help us understand your connection to Viridian Sentinel. I have no connection. I slam my palm on the table. I'm just an arborist. Then explain this. Rosario slides a printout across the table. It's an email from my account, sent 3 days ago to an encrypted address, an email I never wrote. Subject: The Chicago dendrites are ready for activation. Body: all 7 nodes in place, awaiting your signal for the final connection. The canopy will awaken at midnight on the equinox. I look up, my world collapsing inward. I didn't write this. I've never seen this before. No one speaks for a long moment. Then Harlow stands. Get some rest, Mr. Reed. Tomorrow, you're going to help us find every one of these devices hidden in Chicago's trees. He pauses at the door. Before they activate, whatever that means. As they leave, my phone, which they returned after examining, buzzes with a text from an unknown number. It's a single line. Trust the heartwood, not the bark. M. M for May? I look up at the camera in the corner of the room, suddenly certain I'm not the only one who received a message just now. Dawn breaks over Lake Michigan as Harlow drives us through downtown Chicago in an unmarked SUV. Detective Chen sits beside him. I haven't slept. Instead, I spent the night in a secure room at DHS, reviewing maps of the city's tree inventory and trying to understand how I became central to a conspiracy I know nothing about. The first site is up ahead, Harlow says, turning onto Michigan Avenue. Millennium Park. They've outfitted me with a specially designed detector, a handheld device that supposedly identifies the electromagnetic signature of the Viridian sensors. It feels heavy in my hands, like a bulky metal detector with extra antennas. Remember, Chen says as we park, we have agents throughout the area. Don't try anything creative. I want to argue that I'm cooperating fully, but exhaustion has dulled my responses. Instead, I follow them into the park, where early morning joggers circle the empty plaza. The detector remains silent as we check the first 3 trees, mature oaks planted during the park's construction. But when we approach a cluster of honey locusts near the bean, the device emits a soft, pulsing tone. Got something, I say, surprised despite myself. I follow the strengthening signal to a tree at the edge of the group. Unlike the fig tree in the courtyard, there's no visible damage here. The honey locust stands healthy and unmarked. It's in there somehow, I say, circling the trunk, but I don't see any signs of drilling or insertion points. Harlow steps closer. These devices are designed to be untraceable. They could have been inserted when the tree was younger or through the root system. I frown. That's not how trees work. If something entered through the roots, it wouldn't migrate up the trunk. And if it was inserted years ago, the tree would have grown around it, possibly rejected it. Like your fig tree did, Chen points out. The fig didn't reject it, it encapsulated it. There's a difference. I press my hand against the honey locust's bark, feeling its vibrations. An old habit from my early training days. Trees communicate, you know, through chemical signals, through fungal networks in the soil. They warn each other about threats, share resources. Harlow looks impatient. Fascinating dendrology lesson, but can you find the device or not? I ignore him and close my eyes, feeling the tree's structure. Something doesn't add up. The detector says the signal is coming from inside the trunk, but there's no physical way for an object that size to be there without visible evidence. Unless… I open my eyes. It's not in the tree, it's near the tree. I kneel and begin examining the soil around the base. The mulch looks recently disturbed. Digging with my fingers, I uncover a small irrigation box, the kind used for watering systems. Inside, nestled among wires and valves, is a cylindrical device identical to the one I saw in the fig tree. Got it, I say, stepping back to let Harlow retrieve it with gloved hands. He examines it, then carefully places it in a lead-lined container. 1 down, 6 to go. By midday, we've located 3 more devices. One near a veteran oak in Lincoln Park, another in the planting bed of a street ash downtown, and a third in Washington Park. None were actually inside the trees, but all were positioned within the root zones. As we drive to the 5th location, I piece together what I've observed. They're creating a network, I say, more to myself than to them. Each device positioned near a significant tree in a roughly circular pattern around the city. Chen turns in her seat. What would be the center of that circle? I consult the map on her tablet. Based on these locations, I mark the points and draw connecting lines. The center would be somewhere near the old water tower. Harlow and Chen exchange glances. What? I ask. The water tower houses one of the main telecommunications hubs for the city's emergency management system, Harlow says slowly, including the new integrated neural network that coordinates emergency responses. A chill runs through me. Neural network, dendrites. The canopy will awaken. The pieces start falling into place. They're creating some kind of bioelectronic interface with the urban forest, using the trees as, what, amplifiers? Receivers? Or cover, Chen suggests. Hide technology in plain sight, where people rarely look closely. My phone buzzes again. Another text from the unknown number. The roots know what the branches don't. Check your climbing gear. I freeze. My gear was left at the courtyard, collected as evidence. Harlow, I say carefully, did your people examine my climbing equipment? Standard procedure. Why? Was anything unusual found in it? He frowns. Not that I'm aware of. It's in the trunk. At the next stop, a community garden in Pilsen, Harlow retrieves my climbing bag from the SUV while Chen and I search for the device. I quickly go through my equipment, checking each carabiner, rope, and harness component. Nothing seems out of place until I reach my helmet. The headlamp feels slightly heavier than usual. I detach it and examine the battery compartment. Inside, alongside the standard batteries, is a micro SD card taped to the plastic housing. Chen notices my hesitation. What did you find? I close the compartment quickly. Nothing, just checking the batteries. She doesn't look convinced, but Harlow calls us over to where he's located the fifth device, this one disguised as a soil moisture sensor. As he secures it, my mind races. Who put that SD card in my equipment? May? Someone from Viridian Sentinel? Or someone else entirely? The sixth device takes longer to find. It's hidden within a decorative planter outside a high-rise on Wacker Drive. By the time we secure it, the sun is setting, casting long shadows across the river. One more, Harlow says, checking his watch, and we're running out of time. The equinox is tonight. The final location brings us to Grant Park, near Buckingham Fountain. The trees here are younger, planted during a recent renovation. According to the detector, the signal is coming from a slender elm near the southeast corner. As I circle the tree with the detector, something catches my eye. A small drone, similar to the one I saw yesterday, hovers at the edge of the park. When I turn toward it, it darts away, disappearing behind a building. Harlow, I say quietly, we're being watched. He follows my gaze, but the drone is already gone. Focus on the device. We need to complete the set. The detector leads me to the base of the elm, but unlike the others, there's no obvious hiding spot nearby. No irrigation box, no planter, no convenient mulch bed. It has to be here somewhere, Chen says, scanning the area. I look up at the branches of the young elm, then at the surrounding trees. Something about the pattern strikes me as deliberate, the way they're spaced, the slight differences in species selection. I step back and view the grove as a whole. From this angle, the arrangement of trees forms a pattern that looks almost like, "It's a circuit," I whisper. The trees themselves are the circuit. Before I can explain further, a sharp pain explodes in my shoulder. I stumble, hand reaching for the source, a small dart protruding from my jacket. My vision blurs immediately. I see Chen reaching for her weapon, Harlow speaking urgently into his radio. Then, darkness closes in from all sides. My last conscious thought is of May's text, "Trust the heartwood, not the bark." As the park spins around me, I glimpse a figure moving swiftly between the trees. Blue hair catches the last light of day. Then, nothing.
I wake up, disoriented,
in a small, dimly lit room that smells of antiseptic and something burnt. My body feels heavy, weighed down by an overwhelming fatigue, and a dull throb pulses in my shoulder where the dart struck me. I blink, trying to adjust to the fluorescent lights overhead. The last thing I remember is the pain, the dart, and May's blue hair disappearing into the shadows. Panic rises in my throat. Where am I? I sit up abruptly, but the world tilts beneath me, and I grip the edge of the bed to steady myself. A door creaks open, and Detective Chen steps in, her expression a mixture of concern and irritation. "Easy, Mr. Reed," she says, her voice steady. "You're safe now. You were out for a few hours." "What happened?" I croak, my throat dry. "Where's Harlow? Where's May?" "Harlow's coordinating with our team. You were attacked, and they took you in for observation. May, we're still trying to locate her." Her gaze sharpens, but we have some leads. My heart races as I recall the last moments before the darkness. The devices, the tree circuit, they're using the trees as a network, aren't they, to connect to something bigger? Chin nods, her brows furrowing. "We believe so. The devices are designed to communicate with each other, creating a grid. But we need your help to understand the full scope of it." I swing my legs over the side of the bed, the cold floor jolting me awake. "What do you mean? How can I help?" "Your knowledge of urban forestry. You understand how trees communicate, how they interact with their environment. We need you to lead the charge against whatever Viridian Sentinel is planning. If they activate those devices tonight, it could cause major disruptions throughout the city." The weight of her words crashes down on me. "What do you mean, disruptions?" "Imagine a city where traffic lights go haywire, emergency services are incapacitated, and surveillance is compromised."
It's chaos. She steps closer, urgency in her voice. "We think they're planning to use the equinox to synchronize their devices. They believe it'll amplify their control." A sickening realization washes over me. The email, the one I didn't send, it mentioned activation at the equinox. They're leveraging the natural world to manipulate the artificial. Exactly. And if we don't act fast, we'll be too late. I stand, adrenaline flooding my veins. We need to find the last device before it's activated, and we need to find May. Agreed, Chen says, nodding. But you need to be cautious. We have no idea how far this goes. As we step out of the sterile room, I can feel the weight of the city pressing in around me. Every tree, every shadow seems to whisper secrets, and I know that the answers I seek lie hidden among them. The car ride back to the park is tense. I grip the edge of the seat, my mind racing with possibilities. What does May know? Why would she involve herself with Viridian Sentinel? When we arrive at Grant Park, the sun hangs low in the sky, casting long shadows across the ground. I step out and take a deep breath, the air filled with the earthy scent of damp soil and foliage. "Where do we start?" I ask, scanning the area. "The last device should be near the elm tree," Chen replies, her eyes searching the horizon. I nod, trying to shake the unease settling in my stomach. But we need to be strategic. If they're watching, we need to act quickly and quietly. As we approach the elm, I can feel the pulse of the city around me. I kneel beside the tree, running my fingers over the bark, grounding myself. If they're hiding it in plain sight, we need to think outside of the box. Chen glances around, her instincts sharp. "What do you suggest?" "Let's check the area around the tree first. If the device is part of a network, it might be connected to something else." We scour the perimeter, examining the roots and soil. My mind races with thoughts of May. What if she's been taken? What if she's part of this? A sudden pang of guilt hits me. I should have asked her more about her work. I should have trusted her judgment. "Over here," Chen calls, her voice cutting through my spiraling thoughts. I rush to her side as she kneels by a small pile of mulch near the base of the elm. "Look at this, it's freshly disturbed." I dig with my hands, heart pounding as the soil crumbles beneath my fingers. As I pull away the dart, I see it. A small, sleek device, half buried and covered in roots. My breath catches.
There it is, I exclaim, lifting it out and inspecting the cylindrical shape. This is it. Good work, Chen says, her voice steady. Now we need to disable it before it can connect to the network. I glance at the device, heart racing. Can we just unplug it? I doubt it's that easy, she replies, examining it closely. If this is designed to be part of a network, it likely has fail-safes. As she pulls out her phone, I can't shake the feeling of being watched. We need to hurry, I insist. They are probably aware we're here. Just as she begins to make a call, I hear a rustling in the nearby bushes. I freeze, instinctively stepping in front of Chen. Did you hear that? I whisper. She nods, her eyes narrowing. Stay behind me. Before I can respond, a figure bursts from the foliage, a man in a black hoodie sprinting toward us. My heart races as he lunges for the device in my hand. No, I shout, but he's too fast. He knocks it from my grip, and it clatters to the ground. Chen raises her weapon, but the man is already darting away. Stop, she yells. I dive for the device, but it's too late. The man grabs it and sprints toward the tree line. I glance at Chen, who hesitates for a split second before chasing after him. Go, she shouts, her voice filled with urgency. I scramble to my feet and follow her. My legs burn as we weave through the trees, adrenaline propelling me forward. Suddenly, I hear a shout from behind. Chen has lost him in the maze of trunks and shadows. Where did he go? I ask, breathless. I don't know, she replies, her eyes scanning the area. He could be anywhere. Just then, I catch sight of a flash of blue hair darting between the trees. May, I call out, my heart thudding in my chest. Is that you? The figure turns, and for a moment I see her face, fear etched in her features. Elliot, she shouts, rushing toward me. May, what's going on? I ask, urgency in my voice. Are you okay? I'm fine, but we need to move. They know you're here. The device, it's not just a sensor, it's a trigger, she says, her breath quickening. What do you mean? I demand, panic settling in. If they activate it tonight, it will cause a massive signal disruption. They're planning something big, Elliot, something that could hurt a lot of people. Before I can respond, Chen appears, panting. Did you see where he went? No, I say, shaking my head. But May. Enough, Chen interjects, her tone sharp. We need to regroup. We can't let them activate the device. May turns to Chen, determination in her eyes. I know where they're keeping the main control hub. It's in an old service building near the water tower. Lead the way, Chen says, already moving. We race through the park, urgency fueling our legs. My mind spins with questions. What has May gotten herself into? How deep does this go? As we reach the old service building, the sun begins to set, casting a crimson glow over the horizon. The air feels electric, charged with an impending storm. We need to be quiet, I whisper, glancing around. They could be watching. May nods, her expression serious. This way, she says, leading us to a side entrance. Inside, the air is thick and musty, the remnants of a long-abandoned structure. Shadows loom large, and every noise echoes ominously. We creep down a narrow hallway, the tension palpable. Suddenly, May stops, her eyes wide. There, she hisses, pointing to a door at the end of the corridor. I can see faint lights flickering beneath it. That must be it, I say, heart pounding in my chest. Chen motions for us to stay back, then approaches the door slowly, her weapon at the ready. She turns the knob, pushing it open just a crack. What we see inside makes my stomach drop. A room filled with screens, wires, and a central console blinking ominously. This is it, Chen whispers. We need to shut it down. As we step inside, I see a figure hunched over the console, frantically typing. It's the man from the park, the one who grabbed the device. Stop right there, Chen commands, raising her weapon. He spins around, eyes wide with panic. You don't understand, he yells. If you shut this down, you'll destroy everything. Who are you? I demand, my voice firm. I'm just a technician. I didn't know it would go this far. They're using the trees to create a signal network, but it was never meant to harm anyone.
Then what was it for? May presses. To monitor environmental changes, to collect data for research. We thought it could help the city. He gestures wildly, desperation in his voice. But they're planning to activate it tonight. You have to believe me. I feel my heart racing. What do you mean? What will happen? It'll trigger a massive release of data to everyone. It's designed to expose the city's hidden surveillance systems, but it'll cause chaos in the process. I look at Chen, who's weighing her options. We can't let that happen, she says firmly, but we need to know the full extent of your involvement. Please, the technician pleads, sweat beading on his forehead. I can help you. I can shut it down before it activates. I exchange a glance with May, feeling the urgency of the moment. Do it, I say, my voice steady. But we all go together. No one gets left behind. The technician nods, scrambling to the console. He begins typing rapidly, and the screens flicker to life, showing streams of data cascading down. Just a moment, he mutters, sweat dripping down his face. I can stop the activation sequence. As he works, I can feel the weight of the world pressing in. The trees outside, the city, the lives at stake. It all hangs in the balance. Almost there, he says, glancing back at us, determination in his eyes. Just a few more seconds. Be careful, May warns, her voice taut with anxiety. Suddenly, alarms blare, red lights flashing around us. No, no, the technician yells, his fingers flying over the keyboard. They're trying to override the system. Who? I ask, panic rising. Viridian, they're trying to activate it remotely. Chen moves closer, her weapon still aimed at the technician. You need to get control back. I'm trying, he shouts, his voice strained. I can't stop them unless I... A loud crash echoes from the doorway, and I spin around to see several figures in dark clothing pouring into the room. Get down, Chen yells, as she fires, the sound deafening. Chaos erupts as we duck for cover, the technician struggling with the console. May grabs my arm. We need to help him. I'll cover you, Chen shouts, continuing to fire as we rush toward the technician. Come on, I urge, adrenaline surging. He's still typing, but the screens are flickering wildly now, the data streams going haywire. I can almost... Do it, May yells, pushing him forward. The technician slams a final key, and the alarms suddenly stop. The screens flash a warning, system override in progress. Got it, he shouts, breathless. But I need a few minutes to completely disable it. The figures outside are advancing, and I can see their determined faces. We don't have time, I shout, glancing back at Chen. Hold them off, she commands, her eyes fierce. I nod, heart pounding. We'll protect you, I tell the technician, ready to fight. As the intruders burst into the room, I brace myself, adrenaline coursing through my veins. This is it. We either stop them here or the city faces an unimaginable disaster. Get behind us, I yell, urgency lacing my words. With a deep breath, I prepare to face whatever comes next, knowing that the fate of the city rests in our hands. The trees may hold the answers, but it's our actions that will determine their legacy. And as the confrontation begins, I realize that the heartwood, the truth, has always been deeper than the bark.